to approve Glenn to the DUWA Authority to replace Dave Mackey.
Madam Chair, some of you did make the last DUWA meeting, which was still relatively calm, but we're going to do a formal invite to the next meeting. I think we're looking at relocating it to Lakes of Taylor. And they're going to try to invite all the elected officials to come in from all the communities that are part of the DUWA group. This is a real issue at hand, and it could get really, really ugly for the Downriver communities quickly. Glenn's appointment obviously will take the place of Dave Mackey, but the group is at a critical point, and there's a lot of serious discussions that will take place over the next 2 to 3 months.
Do you know when that next meeting, because I attended the last one, but I know they didn't give a for sure date, but I thought it was going to be this month.
It is, and do you happen to recall, Jeff?
I believe it's July 16th.
That's what I thought it was as well.
What day is it?
It's a lunch
During
meeting.
the day, yeah.
Is it here?
It's
in
Lakes of Taylor they're trying to move it to.
Okay.
They do like it is the 16th. They do like a round table setup, so it's kind of like they do it in the banquet room, and they try to bring like form a square. So everyone that's sitting there, it's a luncheon and an interactive discussion, so everybody can see everybody. So you're not looking at the back of people's heads, and you're comfortable of kind of having a working lunch. So that's the tentative plan. I don't think there's been anything confirmed. I know that we were waiting for a couple of the mayors to respond back, and they may have been out of town because I still haven't seen a response from some of them.
So just a real short, the county's trying to sell something we all own as an entity, right?
Well, ownership is the question,
Okay.
and I think that's a question we all have to be careful of. I don't think we necessarily, any of us want to claim we own it, because with ownership
We all
comes the
share.
responsibility.
Right, yeah, we all share.
But we definitely have a shared interest in it, and I don't think the county has the right to sell it without the Downriver community saying, yes, we agree. How are the rates going to be established? There's a lot of questions that come with it, and so what the Downriver communities have been pushing for is an agreement. And you know, there's been a change in administration. There was an agreement. It required all 15 communities to approve it. 2 did not, so that agreement basically reached a point where it stalemated. It couldn't go anymore because Romulus and Riverview would not pass it for different reasons. So we went back to square one and essentially started negotiations all over again. And let me remind you, the last agreement to get to that point where 2 communities didn't approve it took 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine there's 15 Downriver communities, Wayne County, and then this deficit that they're trying to plug in a number. I mean, I don't know that, I really still don't think that Wayne County has an idea that this system's worth a certain amount of money. I think their position is we're this much short and this is how much we need to get for it. And that's kind of how the discussions have been.
Well, do they have any ideas or anybody interested in purchasing it besides the Downriver communities? Or taking it over?
Yeah, there's speculation that there's an outside firm that has interest in buying it. And of course, we would need some level of participation in that because rates couldn't be established. I mean, we didn't approve the sewage rates because we don't know what that increase is going to be. If they sold it, we could lose all control of that. If they just pass it along, whatever it is. And that's some of the fear that all of the Downriver communities have right now is that the what might happen if it is sold, as the city of Detroit sold theirs.
The one thing I didn't understand completely is the $37 million that they're holding for the Downriver communities. Where did that money come from and what are they doing with it?
So, yeah, so when they set the rate, they build in a certain amount of cash for capital improvements. If you have to replace some of this stuff, it's a very, very expensive proposition. What's happening is that the Downriver communities have said, show us in your budget where that money's at, and what we found out is these are restricted monies that have been spent in the general fund for Wayne County. They've been commingled.
Right.
And there's no borrowing agreements. They've just been essentially using that money to sustain the deficit. And that's where what we've asked for 3 months at least now is give us an itemized ledger of where that $37 million is at, and still to this day we have not received it.
It's probably not there.
Well, we know it's in general fund. We know it's spent, yeah.
Yeah. Someone should be going to jail for that.
Probably a lot of somebody's.
Where's
right?
the mom generator?
Well, it's,
Finish the deal.
a lot to be determined on that one, I guess. Okay, number 16 is to set up a public hearing to vacate Greensway as a public road. I'm not even sure where that is. Is that like a little road that nobody ever uses anymore?
You know,
That's right over off Racco.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, where you would go in up Racco, the entrance to the Gibraltar Trade Center.
Mhm.
You know, there's like that ceramic building or pottery building, like a tin
Yeah.
building
Oh,
that's just to the north, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of runs just behind that into the Gibraltar Trade Center, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And the hard part of this, finding this information was, I think Cindy found that it hasn't always been called Greensway, so we've been looking for Greensway, and it was called,
Joshua Door, oh my gosh, that's.
Oh my God, that goes back.
so in like 1967, they changed the name, and somehow they were able to connect the dots and find it.
Oh my God.
I'll be plain detective.
Is there any other questions on that? Number 17 is gaming license approval for the Taylor Pistol Club.
I called, the guy contacted me, you know, via email, and I called him, and I actually checked with Chief Slavasi too, that they are a real entity. They basically run our range down there at the, you know, joint with the dog pound there. And they do a lot of,
Top
they-
Gun?
what's that?
Top Gun?
No, the handgun range down there. There's a handgun range where the dog pound golf shop is.
Oh, the
Yeah.
dog pound.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, they run that, and then they also run the outside, and they do fundraising for like teaching, you know, and having things like that, so.
Is that
and
where the police practice?
Yeah, yeah, they just run the range.
So can anybody go in there?
I don't believe so.
You have
It's
to
not
belong
open
to the
to the-
Pistol Club?
I think, I'm not sure if they're allowed to use it, but I've often wondered why, but sometimes it can be a hairy situation, because I would, you know, I kind of wanted to see if citizens could use it as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of a, yeah, and, but they're a legit club. I thought somebody was gonna be here tonight, but, they, you know, they have, teachings and all that stuff, and, so, and then Mary, like I said, confirmed all the things that he told me.
Thanks. Any other questions on the? 18 is a solicitation request for the Kennedy High School girls softball team for the canister drive, July 10th through 12th. Um, 19 is to approve anything and everything lawns to extend them to December 31st, 2015.
I have a question for this. I noticed that it says for DDA property maintenance as well, and I don't remember this coming before the DDA at all. I'm not sure if it even has to. I just wanted to know if that was something that was coming before the DDA or not.
I can't remember if that was under general info, because the name was incorporated in there, but I'll double check.
You mean like a list of vendors?
I'll double check that.
Yeah, we can look it up and see, Councilman, I'm not sure, and I certainly wouldn't want to tell you for sure. I know that a lot of these are annual extensions, and I don't know if that was maybe one that was just brought forward as a formality to reapprove, but we can look at it and find out for sure.
Okay, I talked to Jamie a little bit about it, and I think their contract was, and she wanted us, because these guys are actually doing a pretty good job compared to the last group we had, and she said that she was thinking about bringing, you know, probably bringing forward some back.
Yeah, that's, I understand that.
Well, then it says something here about having it to correlate with the end of the calendar year instead of the city's fiscal year, because there's a better opportunity to obtain bids. So I took that to mean that they would send it out for bids at the end of the year to renegotiate a contract.
I know that there was one of them, I'm not sure if it's this one that I talked to Richard about, that was going to require a 60-day extension. It's probably not this, because we weren't going to get bids back in time. But yeah, if we can consolidate or, roll things together. The issue is that some people want to build on, like DDA related stuff and not the general maintenance, like the ordinance related, because they're, sometimes they're not very fun and you get angry people that are there and so there's a lot of, issues with it. So sometimes it's hard to bid them collectively because you get people that simply bail out and don't want to participate.